Hey guys, Jarrett from Team Ardent. Today we're going to do a little something different. Instead of a product review, we're going to discuss fish care and, more importantly, fish care for the table. I know we all talk about how to take care of them, to throw them back and to make sure that they survive and all that good stuff, but it's okay to keep some sometimes. And we're going to kind of go over some things that help that and make a good fresh fish for the table where it's better tasting, and also a couple of pointers on uh, how to prepare for cleaning them and some things like that. So we're going to start off today by talking about what do you do at first if you're going to be keeping some fish. You know, a lot of people throw them in their live wells. They get home, they take them out, they clean them. Hey, it's fresh, it's good. Uh, but we all know that fish can die like that, and if they've been in the water a little while dead, hmm, it's you're probably not going to have a very fresh tasting fish by the time you clean it. What I suggest you do is, if you know you're going to be keeping some fish, take you an ice chest, put it in your truck, put you some ice in that ice chest. I put blocked ice, that way by the end of the day I still have ice. I use an old ice chest. I call it my fish ice chest. If you use the ones like the Yetis, the Arctics, or whatever they are, I'm sure you can pack some ice in there and your ice will be fine at the end of the day. Uh, I don't use that for my fish. Like I said, I have an old ice chest I use, so I put some blocked ice in there. That way I know it's still good. When I get off of the water, the first thing I do is take my fish out of my live well and I put them in that ice chest. Then I get all my boat ready and everything else, and come home. On my way home, I will stop and get a bag of ice from a store and put that on top of the fish. Why that's important is because the ice, when you put ice on top of a fish, it firms that fish up. What I mean by that is it gets them really cold and it firms up the meat. That's important for two reasons. First reason is it keeps it fresh, but the firming of the meat is the real important reason for cleaning them. If you ever clean fish and you clean them fresh and they're not firm, they're not hard, you find that it's a lot harder to clean them, especially if you're using a fillet knife, electric fillet knife. The meat and stuff gets in between the two blades. It gives you all kind of problems. I don't use an electric fillet knife. We'll talk about that in a little while. But the important thing is if it's good and cold, you're going to fillet them a lot easier. They're a lot easier to fillet, and they come out a lot better. Make sure you have them good and cold. Sometimes I leave them overnight. If I get back late in the afternoon, I'll just ice them down really good and leave them till the next morning. They're good, hard, firm, and they're easy to clean. Uh, so with that, we're going to go on to what you use to clean them with. Again, the electric fillet knife. A lot of people use them. Great tool. I have some at the house. I've used them for years. Uh, they're okay, except for the fact that you always have to, drag out an extension cord, or, you have to be near. Some of them are the battery ones you can hook up to a car battery or whatever, like if you're out in the woods or something, whatever. But they all pose the same problems. You got to have an electrical source. You got to have a cord for it. Like I said, sometimes that meat gets stuck in between the two blades, and when that starts happening, you don't have a good clean cut. So I've started using, over the past, I don't know how many years now, but several, I've started using a regular bladed knife, uh, fillet knife. If you go that route, or if you're using that now, you already know, spend some money. Uh, you know, Look, you're going to spend $40 on an electric knife. Spend $40 on this one, okay? Some of them even cost more than that. This is up to you, but I mean, I know I spent, I think, $40, $50 on this knife. It's been great. I've had it for several years. It hasn't given me any issues. Holds the edge good, sharpens easy. It's good and flimsy to get, when you're pressing down, and it's also got enough backbone that it can get you through the bones. Uh, I prefer this knife. It makes a cleaner cut. It makes a pretty fillet, and again, I don't have to worry about cards and all that other stuff. Another thing I've done, and this is just a tip I have for you. And I've done this for multiple things, not just fillet and bass. I mean, I clean a lot of animals, deer processing and everything else over here. When you at a regular table height, you're going to find yourself hunched over, bending, and after a little while, whether it's like I said, cleaning fish or whatever other game, processing deer or whatever, that gets old quick. Your back goes to hurting. I built a table that's a little taller. Also, I have a cleaning board on that table, so I'm never hunched over. I'm straight up and down. Helps a lot on the back, guys. I suggest you try that, or find you a table that's higher than the normal table height. Uh, Another tip is always be prepared. Get everything ready before you start cleaning the fish. Reason being, how many times have you been cleaning fish and dang, I got to go get this, or I got to go that, got to go to the sink, got to clean your hands, got to go do this. I get everything ready beforehand. I have my table ready, my knife sharp. I have a bowl of water with ice water. Very important. As I'm cutting the fillets off, I put them in that ice water. Helps keep them fresh, and I don't have to worry about, if you're outside like I am right now, the blood bees or the flies or whatever that come around. They're in that ice water. They're nice, they're fresh, they stay fresh until I'm ready to package them. I have my packaging already done. So what I do, I pack mine in Ziploc bags, and I know how many fish I'm going to be putting in Ziploc, so I write on them before I even start. I normally pack my fish 5 to a bag. 5 bass, or, well, I'm talking about bass. That's what I'm talking about right now. 5 bass to a bag. I don't generally keep big fish, and it's not a thing against people keeping big fish. It's more of a personal thing for me. They're harder to clean, and the texture to me is different, so I just don't care to keep them. Most of the fish I keep are in the 1 pound to 3 pound range, and seldom even 3. So under 3 pounds. Let me put it to you that way. Is what I normally keep. So I put 5 fish to a bag. For my family, that's plenty. It packs good, so I know when I write that on my bag, the year and the amount of fish I have in the bag. Once I get my fish in the bag, I fill it with water, zip it up, put it in the freezer. Reason I write on the bag first, you don't have to worry about water, because once you start putting water in the bag, it's inevitable. It's going to drip down the bag, and you're trying to write on a wet bag, and it never works. So do that. Little tip right there to help you out, because if you ever mess with a Sharpie and wetness, it's nothing nice. Always freezing water. It's going to help your fish last a lot longer. Obviously you want to cook them fresh if you can, but if you're going to be freezing some, put them in bags, freeze them in water. The bags lay flat, so don't take up a lot of room in your freezer. I mean, fill it with water, but still, they still lay, relatively flat compared to a container or something that you can put it in and still freeze it in water, but it just takes up more room. Here's a little tip I'm going to tell y'all about, especially with bass, that a lot of people probably don't know about and miss out on. And it's this right here. Okay, this is the rib cage. I don't keep the ribs, so don't freak out. But on the back of the rib cage, there's a piece of meat. It's not very big, but when you flip that rib cage, or once you cut that rib cage out and you flip it over, you can take your knife and cut a slim piece of meat off of the back of the rib cage, and I'll show you what that looks like here in a second. Sorry, got out of view. This is what it's going to look like. Okay, not very big, but it looks like about a small brim, a brim chip, or what I call a brim chip, or a white perch, small white perch fillet or something. Not too thick, but man, let me tell you, if you've been throwing that away, you have been missing out. A good friend of mine showed me this years ago, and I have never cleaned a bass without keeping these. I mean, these things are fantastic. When you got I put 5 in a bag, 5 bass in a bag, so that's 10 of these babies in a bag. It's not a lot of meat, but let me tell you what, they fry up in a second, and they're awesome to snack on and stuff while you're waiting for the other fish to cook. Oh, they're great. I'm telling you, my wife loves them. Everybody likes this. This is, I call it the backstrap of the bass. So next time you're cleaning them, think about that. take that little strip off of that rib cage, and you won't regret it. And guys, that's pretty much my pointers for the most part. Hopefully somebody gets some stuff out of it. Just remember, always be prepared, use good equipment. You know, try to stay at a level distance, which you don't, not hunched over. Make you a nice table. You take those few little tips, and I think you're going to be a lot better off when you're cleaning your fish. Till next time, good luck on the water, and good eating.